Hey guys, Zach here. I know it's called football. I'm back after the Arsenal game. I found it really hard to come on and make this video. I've been really stressed out at work, and the stress of this game and sort of what it meant when it was really sort of just a sucker punch that came out of nowhere. From the first minute of the game, it just felt like things were going horribly wrong. The game's been in the back of my head. Obviously, I have a commitment to make these videos, so here I am making it despite the fact it's 2 days after, which isn't necessarily the worst thing. There's a lot of news that's come out, obviously, so we can talk plenty about that. Really, I don't know what went wrong. I mean, if you guys have an opinion and you'd like to share your thoughts, and feel free to let me know what you think went wrong. And it wasn't one thing, which is really what's so concerning about it. It was a culmination of just everything went wrong. Injuries, the Emil Smith Rowe chances. The first chance there wasn't enough power on it. The second was blocked, but he was offsides anyway in the build up, and it just seemed like nothing was going our way, and that has more to do with the way Crystal Palace were playing, and they were extremely solid defensively. Going forward, they were a threat, always going a threat. Mateta, I think that the striker's name was. Excuse me if I'm getting that wrong. Zaha, we know, is a threat, and he was, despite the fact that Cedric, I think, did pretty well containing him for the most part. Everyone looked off. I mean, Odegaard's tight. Just a 10-yard pass he couldn't control. Thomas Partey couldn't pass the ball 5 yards. And he came off injured in the second half. Cedric seemed to be the only player who was somewhat normal, and Ramsdale's come back to the side. It seems like he's lost his charisma. The way we saw him, just enjoying himself, it just doesn't seem like that. And it just seemed like nothing was right from the first minute of the game. Bukayo Saka coming back after COVID didn't look himself. Emil Smith Rowe didn't look himself. I thought he was poor as well, especially on that left hand side with Nuno Tavares in the first half. It was dreadful. There was no connection there whatsoever between those two. According to Arteta, apparently he had a little issue before the game. He seems to be fine now. 2 days after, that yesterday they had a recovery session. Today they were supposed to train for the first time, so you hope there's no news coming out in terms of any new injuries or anything like that. Nicolas Pepe obviously missed out through illness. We don't know if it's COVID yet. He's obviously going to be tested more, and hopefully we can see that he's able to come back and fit, because the Lacazette stuff I'll get into later on in the video, so let me just save that for then. But I mean, we've really just been hit. It's just horrible what's happened. I don't know how else to put it. Kieran Tierney is obviously out for the rest of the season now with that knee injury. I mean, I am baffled by the fact that he played 90 minutes, 100, excuse me, 180 minutes of football, international friendlies, went to this into this break mentioning that he thought he had some issue with his knee, played through the pain, came back, and look what's happened. He's out for the remainder of the season. Now, could something have gone on? Maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. Maybe he wouldn't have had to have a surgery if he would have caught it soon, if he hadn't played those 90 minutes. It's hard to say. I would have hoped that Arsenal could have done something about that. Maybe there was nothing mentioned. Maybe Kieran Tierney, we know he's likes to play through stuff, and perhaps the pain wasn't enough to keep him from stopping. I mean, it's hard to tell a footballer not to play. They're not allowed to play for their country, friendly or not. And Kieran Tierney is the type of guy who obviously wants to go out there and play every minute he possibly can for his country. So it's just difficult. Again, you can't really place a thumb on what went wrong. It just seems like everything did. Thomas Partey getting scans today, potentially out 5 to 6 weeks, because this is the same injury he had, earlier last season. You remember that game back against Tottenham when he came limping off. I mean, as soon as you saw him pull up limping, he gave the ball away, and I don't know if he was carrying it the entire game. It's still unclear, but surely he's going to be sidelined for a couple weeks at least, you have to assume. And with the Chelsea game coming, the Tottenham game is scheduled now for a little over a month from now. Man United are on the bridge. West Ham are on the bridge as well, and those games are really coming up fast. And we've lost one player in Kieran Tierney Thomas Partey most likely out, like I've said. Takahiro Tomiyasu is still uncertain now. There's a little bit of news coming that potentially he could be back to full training after the Southampton game, but really Tomiyasu is not even the main issue because Cedric has filled in there and done quite a good job there since Tomiyasu's been out. The question you have to ask is, how are we going to make up for the Kieran Tierney injury? Because obviously Nuno Tavares isn't doing the job that I think most of us have seen before. I mean, you remember when Kieran Tierney came back injured, Tavares seemed to be holding him out of place, and we had competition here at right back, Cedric and Tomiyasu. We had a competition there at left back. Did we play Martinelli up here, Emile Smith-Rowe, Saka, Pepe? And it was such a great problem to have, and now it just seems like the only problem we have is who can we play there, not which two players are best suited to play there. And, in my opinion, I think perhaps you could bring in Rob Holding, and maybe you play him at center back, push Benjamin White out to right back. He's done it for England. He did it this last international break. He's played there before for Arsenal. I think he's done well there, especially with Brighton. They have these huge figures. They're center backs. They love to attack. They take advantage of every corner and every set piece that they possibly can by sending those big lads up forward and attack. And we know Rob Holding is just phenomenal defensively when he comes on. He wins seemingly wins every header that he goes in for. And Gabriel, White, Holding, perhaps you need that presence anyway against Brighton. So for me, I think that's what you would have to be you would have to be forced to do that. Bring in Rob Holding. Maybe Tavares sits this one out, and if you need an attacking threat later on, you can perhaps bring out Cedric, put Tavares in as more of a wing back perhaps, and have Granit Xhaka drop a little bit deep. But for me, moving Granit Xhaka out there to the left back with no Thomas Partey in the midfield, it's just suicide. And I think Sambi Lokonga surely has to come into the side. I mean, we do have El Neni there, of course. Seems like a somewhat of a lost figure at Arsenal. But look, we're being spread paper thin here. And, surely we have to do something to fix the problem in the midfield. Excuse me. Look, furthermore, let's just talk a little bit about the Lacazette issue. I suppose you have to call it that at this point. He's not scoring goals. I mean, the last open goal he scored from open play was I want to say it's in December, and only 2 goals since then, both being penalties. And look, I understand the link up that he has with the younger players, Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, and Martinelli, but we are desperate for goals, desperate for goals. We were ahead on goal difference by ahead of Tottenham, excuse me. But look what they've done now. They have clinical goal scorers, in Son and Harry Kane, and these guys are absolutely fantastic finishers, and just carry so much threat. And really, when you look ahead to that game, it is a terrifying prospect having to go away to Spurs. It seems like we're going to have somewhat of a makeshift back four. No Thomas Partey in that midfield. Granit Xhaka is going to be there. Sambi Lokonga, can he do the work defensively that's going to be required of him? When you look at that midfield in Tottenham, Højbjerg, Bentancur has been fantastic for Spurs. He really has been fantastic. When Spurs signed him, a lot of people were laughing about the Kulusevski signing, and perhaps he was a little bit unproven at Juventus. I always thought he was a great player. The little bit that I've seen of him, Bentancur is a player I've liked for a long time. Yeah, perhaps he wasn't. I think actually I can't even say that he was played a lot at Juventus under Allegri, and I think he's been doing a phenomenal job at Tottenham. And Jesus Christ, I hate to say that, but it's just true. It's just true. I think he's been really solid, and without Thomas Partey, I really worry about what that midfield is going to look like. The way he can move the ball and control, he's very quick on his feet. Very good technically, Bentancur, and I worry, man. I really do. And jumping back to Lacazette, everyone is begging for Martinelli to be played as a number 9, and I suppose that might be the answer, although it perhaps not that it's a risk, but he's just so good on that left-hand side. I know he can play on the right as well, but he's just so clinical there, the way he picks the ball up and runs with it. and to have him drop deep just to pick the ball up. I just don't think that's going to be the answer. And with Thomas Partey in the side, you could see the balls over the top being more, more of a play style. I know Sambi Lokonga is also, he has the quality there to play balls like that. You saw his little cameo when he came in against Crystal Palace. I thought he was very good when he came on later on in that second half. And I think he's very similar to Thomas Partey, the way he gets in and will tackle and the way he can pull the ball and pull the strings. But, he's not as experienced as Thomas Partey is, obviously. And look, we're just running into a lot of issues. I feel like I'm rambling here, and I'm going to try to just wrap it up here. I did mention Rob Holding perhaps coming in. Maybe he can play right back. Benjamin White, we know, can do the job at right back. For me, this is the team to play against Southampton. Ramsdale in goal, Benjamin White at right back, Gabriel, Holding as your center backs. Put Cedric on the left, Xhaka, Sambi Lokonga, Emile Smith-Rowe, Odegaard, Saka, and Martinelli up front. That would be my starting 11. I have no clue what's going to happen. I would assume with Arteta it's probably going to be a lot of unchanged players in that starting 11. I really wouldn't be that shocked to see Nuno Tavares come back in because, the last 2 starts he's had, he's come off before halftime or during halftime like it was on Monday. And for a young player like that, the confidence, we saw the quality in him before, and I'm not quite sure what isn't ticking, but the more I think about it and when I rewatched that game, just nothing was going right. I don't know what it was. I seriously cannot put down what it was that everyone was just... Gabriel looked like he'd never played football in his life. And I don't know what happened there. Of course, he just became a father over the international break, so there's just so many different things going on, but we just did not look a team whatsoever. So, guys, let me know your thoughts on that game if you want to talk about it at all. I know it's been 2 days now and I'm late for the video, but I want to stay committed and make these videos. I love this. I love this club, and that game was really, really hard to watch, man. Seriously, it was difficult to watch. So, guys, thanks very much for watching. If you made it this far, please let me know your thoughts down below. Hit me up on Twitter. That's always in the description. And as always, I'm open to any sort of conversation about Arsenal, about the World Cup coming up, international friendlies, whatever it may be. Guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you when I see you.